Right, hello, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, depending on where you're watching or listening to us from. This is
Yeah.
AAA Foundation, and I have my two guests here, Paul Asante and Mr. Rifa. We're going to start in a bit, just giving people time to join. In about 2 minutes, we will start. But before we start or until we start, enjoy our beautiful faces and the cool music at the background. Invite all your friends to come and join and your families as well, because this is a very important topic and we need a lot of people to join so that we can have a beautiful conversation today, talking about menstrual poverty. And we're on YouTube as well. So do check us out on YouTube as we go live. So uh, I'm also doing my technical stuff here. Um, I'm a DJ, I'm a host, and
Everything.
I I'm a technical person as well. So let's see. Yeah, YouTube is up. YouTube is working. Everything is working. Right. Let's do
Is
this.
LinkedIn is LinkedIn working?
LinkedIn, everything, man. I'm your technical person here. It's working. It's
Awesome.
working. Right. So, hello everyone, and good evening, good day, good morning, good afternoon. Today is another great evening. To have our usual guest, who is also a partner, Paul Asante. My name is Afua Amponsa, and today we have a special guest who is also a partner now on this donation plan or the event of also not leaving anyone behind, our continuous efforts to advocate for menstrual health hygiene, and also a way of us adding our voice to breaking that cycle of menstrual poverty. I mean, it's not just in Africa or in Ghana. It is a global issue. About 1.2 billion people. There are millions of women out there, over 500 million women suffering or experiencing menstrual poverty, and also the stigma that is attached to it. In 2024, we shouldn't really be having this conversation, but here we are, having it as a global issue, not just a sub-Saharan African issue, but a global issue. So what can we do? We're here to have a conversation, and somebody will think, what would this conversation do? Well, it will educate our followers in terms of shedding light onto this issue, because not a lot of people really do know that it's an issue, and we've taken up it upon ourselves as individuals, as a foundation, as an organization, as a community, to have this conversation. And very importantly, as well, as part of the global no sustainable development goals of the UN, SDG 5, SDG 4, education, equality, but equality for gender or women in particular cannot be achieved without leaving menstrual poverty or menstrual hygiene issues out, because it's part of it. Women or girls are missing school, some are missing work during that time of the month. So how then do we actually achieve equality if we're not talking about this? So today is going to be another exciting evening, an exciting conversation with the chocolate guy, aka for Asante, and Miss Sharifa. So let's get into it. Ladies first, Miss Sharifa, nice to have you here on our event today, and thank you very much for joining us and adding your voice. So if you could tell our viewers who you are, what you do, who's Miss Sharifa.
All right. Good evening, everyone, and thank you so much, Ifua and Paul, for having me here, and thank you all for also joining as well. I'm Sharifatu Adamu, and I'm the founder of the Global Writers Project. And solely the mission of the Global Writers Project is to use writing, as the name goes, Global Writers. So it's to use writing as a tool to empower and address these social issues, which includes the SDG as well. And our primary focus is on SDG 3, 4, 5. Like she mentioned, equality, gender equality being SDG 5. And with this topic today, yeah, for our discussion, it also focuses on SDG 5, which is the gender equality. So I'm happy to be here and talk on this issue. We all know this period poverty is an issue that is affecting all of us. And together, I think we can push forward and provide an inclusive and a supportive world if we have more pressing conversations into that topic. It would be great. I'm happy to be here and I look forward to our conversations on the issue. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That was a great introduction. Global writers. I was actually waiting to ask you that why global writers, but you've done justice to the name. It is in the name, actually. I should have thought about that. So thank you very much, Miss Sharifa, and we're very happy and excited to have you here. Chocolate guy, let's go. If you can introduce yourself again to our listeners and viewers, thank you.
Yeah, so good evening from Ghana to our viewers. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are all over the world. It's good to be here once again as your regular panelist. My name is Paul Asante, a procurement specialist and a gender focal person working with German Development Corporation here in Ghana. And I'm passionate about SDG goals, specifically number 5 that talks about gender equality. So I'm happy to be here and looking forward to an exciting and a fruitful discussion with my co-panelist Sharifa and our hosts Afua and Amponsa.
Yeah, and he forgot to mention that his nickname or his other name is Chocolate Guy.
Yes,
Right,
so yes, Mr. Chocolate, yes, exactly, chocolate.
right. Yes. So thank you all very much. So we'll go straight into it. Paul, I'm coming to you. With my first question. What is Flow for All? Why? What are we doing? Why are we doing this? What is the end goal? And yes,
Yeah,
why Flow for
so
All?
thank you. So, Flow for All, it's a menstrual hygiene advocacy geared towards persons with disability in rural communities in Ghana, with School for the Deaf, School for the Blind at Ekropon. Now, inclusion is very important when it comes to gender equality, and as it is, we leave no one behind. That has been the slogan running through all those presentations we've been having for the couple of weeks and months now. And I collaborating with Triple A Foundation, and I'm happy to have Sharifa and her group also on board. And basically, what we are seeking to do is to raise almost about 1,000 sanitary pads to cater for the girls at the School for the Blind, not just sanitary pads, but other hygiene kits as well to enable them. The whole idea is to help curb pure poverty in rural community areas, and then specifically with persons with disability who are least talked about or least catered for when it comes to some of these things. So we are looking forward to this project where we are raising sanitary pads, from well wishers, organizations, and individuals as well. And not just that, but we will also have some other activities on the Day of the Nation. I believe that as time goes on with this presentation, we will discuss those other details as well. But basically, we are reaching out to persons with disability as a way of including them in SGD 5, and no one is left behind. It is without discrimination, it is without any limitation to such girls, especially disadvantaged girls in rural communities. Yeah, thank you.
I was on mute. There we go. Thank you very much. Miss Sharifa, so what did you see or what made you and your team want to be part of this event, or join or add your voice to it or become a partner?
All right, thank you. So, I would say initially we were also on a fundraiser to embark on a project on menstrual health matters. So I came across the Flow for All initiative, and I felt, as we are advocating for the SDG number 70 is partnership. So why not partner with, other organizations who are also advocating for the same, project. So that was what made me reach out to Paul to collaborate on this. And also, my catch was on the disability part because, menstrual health is a fundamental, human right. It's part of it, and yet it's often been overlooked and neglected, especially with the individuals who have disabilities. And then I think the intersection of, menstruation and disability kind of bring some kind of unique challenge attention. Normally when there are menstrual health advocacies out there and projects, they tend to, even though they are looking out for the marginalized communities, the inclusive part of it where they have to bring in the disabilities are not brought into it, normally overlooked. And so I think addressing this menstrual health issues for such people, or let me say the disabilities, is a matter of equality, and it's a matter of human rights and also inclusion. So that was what made me, partner with Paul.
That is great to hear. That is great to hear. And you've touched on a lot, from the SDGs to what you just concluded with partnership, collaboration. It's very important, especially in our line of work where we're trying to obviously reach out more people that would need the support that we give out there, either with menstrual health hygiene or um, entrepreneurship, donation of books for school, anything. Partnership and collaboration goes a very long way, because together we can do more with little. That's what I keep saying. Because if you have, again, this is what changing the narrative is all about, where you bring what you have, I bring what I have, towards a certain or the same goal that we're all trying to achieve. And with that, we're able to achieve our goal quicker, faster, and together. So it's good to hear, to know that even what the little that we're doing is still um, going or adding up to us achieving different SDGs. So that's very, very great to hear. And also the fact that, yes, a lot of the talks and the advocacy when it comes to menstrual health hygiene, we do leave those with disability out. And for AAA Foundation, this is what really attracted us to Paul's initiative, and we decided to join forces together and also embark on this advocacy, because with AAA Foundation, education or quality education is very important to us. And when we say education, is not just schooling or sat in a classroom being taught. What we're doing now is education, and it is, we have amazing people that we always have these conversations with, expert on the matter, and people that are very passionate about it. So the quality education, when it comes to the initiative that we embark on, we always make sure that education or educating our community about it is not left out, because the awareness is very important as what we are trying to achieve by donating. So yes, thank you very much. Right, Miss Sharifa, when it comes to menstrual poverty, what is what is your concern? Why are you advocating about it? I mean, it's period. Why would you want to talk about period?
Okay, so when we talk about menstrual poverty, the first thing that comes in my mind is the stigma and the taboo. I mean, the patriarchal, cultural, and social stigma that surrounds menstruation. leading it to be a shame, a kind of embarrassment, and also like a secrecy. And in some communities, menstruation is being considered impure or dirty, and which limits open discussions about it and also prevents people from seeking the product, or let me say, prevent the young girls from seeking the product or support they need. And also the limited access to sanitations, in these marginalized communities, without access to the clean water, sanitation facilities, and privacy, getting to manage this menstruation becomes very challenging, and particularly difficult in schools and certain workplaces, or let me say public spaces. So I think addressing the issues calls for like it's kind of like a call to action. This is where education comes in. Earlier on, you mentioned most young girls miss their schools because of their period, in even sometimes work, right? So many girls or women these days, or it's been kind of like that from the beginning, miss the days of education. So let's say a few days from work during their period because they lack the resources or facilities to manage their menstruation or period. And so I think that is what comes to mind when I hear advocating for the end for the period poverty. Yes.
Yeah, thank you very much. You've touched on a lot of good points there, and I think it's a real caring concern whenever I ask guests on this advocacy is the fact that there's a stigma attached to it, which there shouldn't be. So the more we educate people about it, the better understanding that would be out there, and we can only learn from it when the more we talk about it. So yeah, that's a very great submission. So Mr. Paul, I'm going to ask you to talk on behalf of the guys or the men. Why is a guy, like, Mr. Chocolate, why are you talking about menstruation and menstrual poverty? What has that got
Yeah.
to do with a guy?
Yes. I mean, from the onset, and specifically SDG number 5. It is something that I feel that we don't have a lot of men in that space talking about gender equality, especially advocating for disadvantaged girls. And I feel that I need to make a difference in this world. We all need to. So, touring around the country and especially in rural areas where interaction with some of these girls have proven that yes, teenage pregnancy is on the increase because they can't afford basic things, like yeah. So sanitary pads is very expensive for them. They usually will end up getting pregnant because some unscrupulous men out there will take advantage. So money. Let me probably use this jargon: money in a hand, free goodies, and then they end up getting pregnant and all that. Now their educations are truncated, and we know in Ghana here, once you're in a rural community, you come from a rural community and your education is truncated because of teen pregnancy, that is the end of your life. Even after childbirth, society tags you in a certain way that it becomes so difficult for you to go back to school again. That means that you may probably have truncated a very bright vision of yours. Probably you could be the next NASA astronaut or engineer, but because of teenage pregnancy, because you could not afford basic sanitary pads. So I feel that yes, as a man, I need to make a difference in that space. I need to advocate more when it comes to period poverty and basically menstrual hygiene. It also boils down to the fact that men must also be supportive when it comes to menstrual hygiene, and not just at home, but even at the workspace. And most importantly, for persons with disability. I keep mentioning persons with disability because they are the least talked about when it comes to providing menstrual care and all these things. So it's very important that as a man, I go out there and then champion it for them, on their behalf, make sure they are well catered when it comes to adequate provision of menstrual hygiene kits. It's a basic human right. You get it? And I mean, menstruation is a basic human right, and we can never take that away from, especially persons with disability. So as a man, I would definitely would go out any day, anytime for them, and I'll keep advocating that yes, we should give equal rights to persons who are menstruating. It is their right to menstruate. So if a man you are not able to menstruate, obviously how God created us, we are not able to menstruate. But what we can do is to be able to support our fellow human beings who menstruate and make sure that access to menstrual products are available for them, at the least cost. And I mean, let's make sure life is comfortable for them. The TLC is very important. Let's make sure life is very important. I mean, life is comfortable for persons who are menstruating. Yes, we should never leave anybody behind. We shouldn't discriminate when it comes to menstruation. The fact that society sees it as a taboo, and even when you talk as a man, even when you talk about it, it's seen that like it's a taboo. Why are you talking about it? But we must break that myth surrounding menstruation, that stigma surrounding menstruation in our part of the world, especially in Africa. We must break that and then move forward and champion for equal rights, especially when it comes to menstruation. And that is the whole idea of Flow for All. Over to you, Afua.
Right, right. So I think you can all understand why we call him Mr. Chocolate Guy. He keeps talking about TLC, soft life. I mean, he comes with bearing chocolate every time. So the thing is, I don't know. I can't say this without keeping a straight face. Every time I say it, it comes with, I don't know. It tickles me. But I think it's a great name. I think it's a great name. We need to find something and write it there, Mr. Chocolate. But anyway, that's just by the way. So on a more serious note, you know, um, I tried to have this conversation randomly with a fellow colleague, female obviously, and it was very awkward, very very awkward. And then I said, "Do you know why I'm having this conversation?" No, actually went, "Why you randomly having menstrual or period conversation with me?" And I was like, why are you feeling uncomfortable? Because it's just weird. Who just randomly starts talking about um menstruation or periods? I was like, I don't know, maybe I'm just weird like that, you know. And this is it. This so I then obviously let her into the advocacy that we're on, and I was just trying to test a few of um our submissions that we make about how uncomfortable even females find talking about periods or menstruation. And when I then sort of elaborated on the reason for this conversation, and then she went, actually it's not actually really weird now that you've said, or now that you've talked about it, but we will openly, or people will openly talk about sex, but we won't talk about this basic human right or human need, or um part of being a woman. And this is where the problem is, because we women are also shy to talk about it. We feel very uncomfortable to talk about it. It's making it difficult for, I think, those in policies or the policy makers to take it serious. Reason being that we are shy to talk about it. We're shy to admit that we actually need the support. We're shy to say no, it is something that needs to be changed. The taxes, the inflation on the period product, how it feels like, on when you're on your period or that time of the month, the extra support that we need at the workplace, at home, anywhere else. The fact that if you see a woman soil herself, or if you see a woman in pain, is not just them being a woman or them being just part of that time of the month, like we seamlessly put it. It's just because there's a lot that goes on that we might not all be able to share. Because one thing that came to mind was, I was like, I've never seen you, um obviously I can't say I've never seen you on your period. I was like, I've never seen you miss work before. Well, she did say same for me, and we don't know when we each is the time of the month for each other. Reason being, I would say we're part of the lucky ones who do not show the physical pains, or we just are able to mask out the pain. Let me put it that way. And then she was like, "Oh, I do have cramps, and when I do, I just stay away from everybody." And you know what? When she said that, and I was like, "Uh-huh. So this is what it is. This is why sometimes you come in and you put that stern face, and we're all scared to talk to you." It's like, "Yeah, because I need peace." And then I was like, "Oh, okay. So now I know when is that time." So we just laughed about it. And this is the thing, some people do not get it that women's body work differently. There's some people that actually go to the extent of getting hospitalized at that time of the month because they're in pain, excruciating pain. And there's a medical term for it, which I can't remember at the moment. But what am I trying to say? Miss Sharifa, why do you think um, we need to put emphasis on the fact that during that time of the month, for certain women, instead of them missing work, depending on the work that they do, some people might have to go out of work unpaid or paid sick leave, or when it becomes a problem that you're always taking certain number of days away from work. What do you think should be put in place so that men do not feel left out? Because obviously they do not go through that pain. I don't know if men menstruate. They might have other things that they go through that we don't know, but we'll ask Mr. Poy in a bit. Um, when other women do feel left out, because why is she getting more days off work and I'm not? It can create all that problem. So the question I'm trying to ask is, how do we go about it? Um, because sometimes what happens is, as we're trying to solve one problem, if we're not careful, we end up creating more problems. So, in your opinion, I mean, there's no right or wrong answers, but how do you think we can go about it? How can we educate our fellow colleagues, our fellow people, either in school or um, I don't know, anywhere, church, whatever, to for people to understand that it is okay for certain people. I mean, equity. This is why AAA Foundation, we love to champion for equity, because some pe- some I mean, look at these fingers. They're not all the same. For this one to get to this length, we need a lot of stretching for it to get to. That's the only way we can um achieve equality. So some people would definitely need more resources to achieve that equality. We might not always be the same. However, there is something that we can do. So, in your opinion, all that I'm trying to ask with all these long jargons is, what do you think we can do in our workplaces, and how to support our fellow women when it's that time of the month without creating more problems?
Okay, so first off, I would say the menstrual health issue is everyone's responsibility, and women must stand alongside women while advocating for the change. And as we move closer to the world where period poverty is eradicated and the menstruators can change or can manage their periods with dignity and equality, we then have to embrace education and awareness while ending this period poverty. And there are certain key components that comes with this. And first of all, it's not only about the lack of access to the menstrual products, but also it stems from the lack of knowledge, the harmful stigma, the inadequate support system that has affected we, the women, worldwide. And so, through education and the increasing awareness, we can dismantle the barriers. And mainly, how do we help each other? Understanding what the menstrual health is about, a comprehensive understanding of the menstrual education is very crucial to debunking the myths, reducing the stigmas, and also promoting the healthy menstrual practices. And it's not limited to a person only. But then, like you said, you made a statement that even women, when we are talking about it, we feel shy about it. We don't get to express ourselves while talking about this. It's all about reinforcing the gender norms, and also as women, there's been some kind of like stigma within the um let me say our community of women. There is stigma within it, and it's
Yes.
it's kind of like puts a woman to a corner when they are being stigmatized. And I'll use the term leaking. You know, sometimes a woman will be like, I'm afraid to go to this area because especially when they're in the period, because they feel like, oh, they may be leaking, or they will be mocked due to their reaction of the cramps. It's something that happens. So I think through the awareness, increasing awareness and the education, getting to understand the myth, the whole menstruation health, and debunking, living away, doing away with the myth around it, is going to bring kind of like
Mm-hmm.
easy access for a
Mm-hmm.
comprehensive, or let me say a friendly way of understanding each other.
Mm, mm. Yeah, that's very true. It's all stems from the education. So, having the right education around it, debunking the myths, would definitely lead to a proper policy being put in place in the workplace, so that just like we're advocating for persons with disabilities as well, so that they, people do not feel like they're getting special treatment and others are being left out. I like that submission. Education, 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 quality education. Thank you very much, Miss Sharifa. Mr. Paul, so I'm going to throw the same question at you. And why do we have to educate men about period? Why should a man really care about a woman, leaking? Miss Sharifa has given us a new word.
Yeah, she's giving a new one today, so that's right. But yeah, so I would tackle it from two different perspectives. I mean, first of all, let's have a period at work policy where management actually buys into it. And before management buys into it, you must have either HR advocating for it or somebody within the rank and file of the organization saying that, you know what, let's have a period at work policy that goes to support not just the women but the men as well. And how do we do that? I mean, you can have work from home policy during that period within the 7 day period that you're menstruating. So such things, when you have the backing of management, it goes to say that yes, organizations are being more inclusive, they are being more listening, and they are actually making sure that SDG number 3 that talks about good health and well-being is actually being practiced. Not just apart from number 5 that talks about gender equality, but again, number 3 is actually being practiced. Good health and good living. So let's have period at work policy. Management should buy into it, and then it becomes a lay down policy that gets for women who are menstruating. During that period, you can work from home. You can just do your 8 hours from home. So you have that conveniency to be able to manage it at your level at home. Again, let's have a period at school policy. Why do we need this? We need this because during that period, students may find it very difficult to either go about their school chores and all that. So if you're in the boarding school, they probably will struggle because definitely they will have to do some grounds work, which requires extraneous activities and all that. So let's have a period at school policy that during such period, girls are supposed to do duties. You manage it. You don't stress them. You put them on light duties at school. Now, things that the girls could be doing, and because they find themselves in this situation and they are inconvenienced, the boys can equally take it up. And once the boys take it up, it shows to, I mean, it goes to confirm that yes, they are being supportive. And that is why we need men, championing it that yes, period, men should equally show concern. I mean, yes, be supportive of their colleague females at the offices. I mean, just reach out to a colleague. How can I make your life easier during this period for you? Are there any workloads you probably want to delegate to me whilst you manage this? So yes, work from home, but then the physical presence of the man at the office, coordinating, certain manual processes that hitherto the female colleague would have been in the office doing. You, the man, you end up doing those duties at the office. Why do you do that? You do that just to be able to show support to your colleague that yes, I'm also interested in what you're going through. I may not experience it physically, but this is how I can support. I can take up some of your workload, and manage it whilst you work from home to be able to, manage yourself and all that. So it's very important that men out there will be able to go and then support their female colleagues. Just reach out to them. Is there anything you can do, to support some of these inconveniences that they go through and all that. And I'm happy to say my organization has a period at work policy, which is something new that has come up. And the fact that we even have sanitary pad dispensers in our female washrooms now, which has become a global policy for almost every GIZ project worldwide to now incorporate. This is how we support period policy at work. And every organization in Ghana here, I would encourage them to equally do same for female colleagues in their office space and all that. And the sanitary products should be part of regular housekeeping items. That is how you support them. So you never leave them to their fate ideas. I mean, it's your own issue. You deal with it at home
Mm.
or at the workplace. But then you make it known that yes, we are committed, and our period policy at work says that yes, we provide emergency sanitary pads to them at the office space so that at least they feel relieved, they feel comfortable. And that is not the time that you put, I mean, line managers don't pile up so much work on their female colleagues. You must be very sensitive during that period. And then you also provide some level of support. Take off a bit of workload from them. Let them work from home. Equal 8 hours. They sign in onto their systems. Then you can be able to comfortable and manage it themselves because they are not, it's an issue that it's so difficult to discuss among themselves, and that is where we have to break that myth. That barrier needs to be broken. That is, let's have a continuous open discussion on this, and once we talk about it consistently, it becomes a normal norm. It becomes part of us. Nobody shies away from it. By so doing, we are able to support everybody along the office chain as well. Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much. So let's engage with our listeners and our viewers as well. So those watching us from YouTube, I see about 3 or 4 people watching on YouTube and then on LinkedIn as well. So unless you write a comment, I will not be able to see who's joining. It's not like the audio that you're able to see people's name to acknowledge them, but I still see people online. So thank you very much if you're watching us on YouTube or listening in on LinkedIn as well. We also want to know in the comment section what you think about the questions that we are asking or the topic that we are discussing. If you want to join us as a guest as well, please do put it in the chat, and then we will send you a guest link for you to join us, for you to also share if you don't want to type it. So yeah, thank you all very much for joining. And this is Triple A Foundation. My name is Afua. I'm here with Miss Sharifa and hey, I was going to say Mr. Chocolate Guy. Anyway, Mr. Asante, talking about menstrual poverty, and advocating for equal rights here, for for not just women, but especially those with disability. Reason being, they are left out in majority of policies that is out there. You know what? The ex-president Kufuor actually said a profound, or made a profound statement, that he said that if anybody had told him he would be in a wheelchair today, he wouldn't have believed it. And even if he did, whilst he was in power, he would have actually made more, he would have put more effort into making the lives of disabled people out there better.
Yeah.
So you see, um, okay, we're not
If
here to discuss politics, but this
if
is
you
how
haven't,
far it goes.
yeah, for if you haven't experienced disability, you never know of, or you appreciate how they feel like. I mean, what goes, the kind of
Mm,
emotions they go through psychologically, what they
mm,
experience emotionally, and all that. Now that somebody has experienced it, somebody who once um, um, had all the authority to change the narrative. Now that the person has experienced it, it's good that these things are coming out. So policymakers out there, let's pay equal attention to persons with disability. Let's make
mm,
sure we enact laws that makes their lives so comfortable and at ease. I expect the Ghana Education Service. I expect Ministry of Health. I expect a number of organizations. Let's reach out. Let's advocate that, yes. Let's have policies that makes it easier for persons with disability,
mm,
to
mm,
actually enjoy life when it comes to period management
mm,
or
mm.
menstrual hygiene. Yes,
Yes.
let's have such policies.
Mm. And I think
Nobody should be left behind. Yeah.
definitely no one should be left behind, because at the end of the day, we're all human. Um, that's it. We're all human, regardless of background, race, whatever. We're all human, and we all deserve to have the best that there is in life, or that life has got to offer us. So yeah, when he made that statement, I was like, I hope somebody is listening and actually
Mhm.
making notes, and
Yeah.
also thinking that, I mean, like he said, even nobody actually believed, or would have believed it, if anybody said, oh, a few years to come, you're going to be like this. But then this is what it is. And I hope policymakers are listening. And again, this is very important, why we need people of various backgrounds and abilities to actually be part of policy. That's the only way we'll be able to make changes, and be able to sort of not just think of um, say the 90%, you know but also the 10% that is left would not be left out. What am I trying to say? So there's a lady, I'm trying to remember her name, but I can't remember. She's losing her eyes, or I think now she's actually lost it, but she's doing so well. She's actually a minister in Kenya, and she's actively advocating for persons with disability. She is and this also goes to show that disability is actually not something that prevents you from achieving um anything, just like an a or fully bodied human. The only thing is, you just, again, we've come to the word equity. They just need more resources, better resources, that extra functionality that would help or aid them in reaching their goals. For example, recently we just had the Paralympics. Look at all of these great, amazing athletes out there. If they had not had the
Yeah.
support, or if they did not have the right equipment around them, they would not have been able to reach where they've reached now, and doing everything that, when you're just behind, you would never think some amputees and
Yeah.
all these disabilities out there would be able to achieve. So this goes a long way to show that when the right things are done, when the right resources are put in place, when the right policies are made, and when the right people are put into policies to, think of everybody, it will go a great way to help society. Um, and also the inclusivity, they keep changing the name. Now I've got a name in my head that has changed, I think 2 or 3 times now. But diversity and inclusivity, this
Yeah.
is this is where it's that this is when it's very important that we just don't sit there and make so much noise about it, but we're actually putting it into practice. When we look at, let's take Ghana for example. I don't think there's any persons of disability in high power or in authority at all. Or
Oh, we have a
I
regional
don't know, so that's what I'm
minister.
asking.
Yeah,
Okay.
we have one of the, yeah. So we have a disadvantaged person, and he's a man in one
Okay.
of the regions as a region. But
All
I
right.
think I can't tell whether he's been reshuffled or not. But the last time I checked, we had one regional minister, in
Mm.
one of those newly created regions as well. But
All
come to
right.
think of it, that is a regional minister,
Mm.
and necessarily will not be part of cabinet.
Mm.
Now, if you want somebody who wants who sits through cabinet, then you should have a gender minister who is disadvantaged, a gender minister who is disabled or has a disability.
Mm.
Then they can actually, advocate for key policies to be enacted at cabinet level. Now becomes, a directive, and then it goes to parliament, goes through all the you know, um, legal processes. Then we can have a law that says that yes, this is
Mm.
something tailored towards persons with disability.
But
Until
to be
we
honest
have
with to be
very
honest with you,
sensitive,
mm-hmm.
yeah, until we have very
Mr. Rifa.
sensitive and we have very sensitive positions being occupied by persons with disability, we'll just keep sweeping it under the brush.
Mm.
Yes, we'll just keep sweeping it under the brush. Let's make sure persons with disability also occupy sensitive information. Imagine if you have an information minister who, has a disability. You're amazed. Or you have somebody who is a defense minister and then has a disability. You'll be
Mm.
amazed at the direction where certain policies, will be geared towards. But if we keep sweeping it under the carpet and then appoint, persons to certain positions that really don't make so much noise, they don't really matter when it comes to policy formulations and the rest. At the
Mm.
regional level, the regional minister doesn't really, come to play when it comes to policy formulation and all that. But
Yeah.
we need people in cabinet positions to be able to make their cases heard when it comes to persons with disability. It is only true then that at least we can have some meaningful policies coming out that becomes, a footing stone, for many more advocates to now build on. And then on it. We keep, yeah, so we can call on development organizations, to contribute and all that. So I feel that we still need to have a second look at it. How persons in authority are appointed to occupy certain positions, and then do we equally go by SDG number 5 that talks about gender equality? If we put persons with disability, let's say you have a person with disability who is a finance minister, you cannot imagine where the policy will be geared towards, making sure there's
Mm.
adequate funding for institutions that are supposed to carry out, their mandate when it comes to
Yeah.
persons, when it comes to persons
Mm.
living with disability and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
sure.
yeah,
Yes, Miss Sharifa, you wanted to chip in some. Go for it.
Yeah, and I wanted to say accessibility is also very important. Um And also the need to push for policies that requires for training caregivers and the support staff on how to assess these women or these young girls with disability, on how they are going to manage their period effectively. And so when policies are being pushed towards training these caregivers or support staff, it's gonna kind of have give them the way to understand the unique way and
Mm-hmm.
also the
Mm-hmm.
preferences of each of these individuals during their menstruation. So I think the accessibility is very important for the women with disability on how to manage their menstruation confidently and also independently. So policies needs to be pushed towards training these caregivers as well.
Again, we've come back to education, and you can't take it out. So the thing is, even if let's say, even if we don't get any persons of disability in power, but I do know, and I do believe there's brilliant persons with disabilities out there. And I've seen it all. Those that can paint with just a paintbrush in their mouth because they don't have hands, those that can paint with their feet, the amazing things that they're doing out there. It's I have no doubt that we won't be able to have anybody in the Senate, or holding high power with disability, that their disability or anything. I mean, we did establish this at the beginning of our event, that disability actually means this ability. This very thing that we see as a deficit is actually what empowers them. So this ability that they've got to still thrive is something that we can enhance and give them the opportunity to also thrive. So I just googled the lady, Crystal Asige, and she's a senator in Kenya. Listen to that lady. If you've got time, or whenever, like, listen to her. Her voice is even so soothing. I love her so much already. I don't know her, but I came across one speech, and then I went and googled her, and I've listened to so many different speeches that she's made. This is a smart lady. She's gone to so many different schools, and achieved so much for herself. And this is a person of disability. She's blind. Um she's 34, and she's doing great, and her main goal is to basically help children like herself, get to where she is now. And this is what we're looking for in order to achieve equality, in order to leave nobody behind. We can't just talk about these things. It's not just about talking, and this is why I always say I'm actually tired of talking. I need to see people. Like, I'm looking for people that will actually put these things in action. Um, I've listened to a few of the manifestos of only because obviously Ghana is about to have the elections, and there is no manifesto that actually addresses a lot of these issues that needs to be addressed, you know and it's very concerning that when and how would we then get there? Who is going to be in power that would actually take these sort of things that we're saying seriously? um and when would the talking stop for us to see action? Again, um this is when my radical belief is that we as individuals, we as um the the people, could also do the little that we can to support those that need the help. Because if you're always going to try and look at people in power to actually make the difference, it will take us a very, 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 very long time. So this is why we're looking to do the little that we can by donating some menstrual products to the School of the Blind in Okropon, and also have a day with them. I believe we're having a mentorship day and a career advice day with them, and also to listen to them so that we can understand what it is like when they, the struggles or the issues that they go through during that time of the month. And again, this is the little that we can do as individuals, as organizations, and as many individuals, organizations, and corporate bodies enact these little changes in our own little world, this is the only way we will be able to actually um have that domino effect, for it to be enacted in the bigger picture. So we invite you all, our listeners, our donors, our supporters out there, to keep pushing this agenda for us, and to also join us in getting these voices or these issues out there, and throwing more light on it, so that it will reach the right people, and then the right things will be done. I mean, it might not be today or tomorrow, but then if nobody's talking about it, then we won't really get anywhere, and nobody's going to believe that this is a serious issue. So we'll keep doing the little that we can, until we're able to see that change that we envision, um, for persons with disability, and for menstrual products to be taken away from the luxury list, because I don't see period or a pad as a luxury. That is no luxury. So we do hope that we do get to see the change that we're looking for. Okay, so two more questions, and then we will try and wrap up. Again, if you have any contributions, kindly do put it in the comment section. Join us in this conversation as we add our voice to advocate for period poverty, and for this to be known and seen as a basic human right, and also a way to add that for women to have equal rights, period poverty cannot be left out. We cannot have equal rights without actually adding period poverty or fighting against period poverty. Chrissy says we are the change. We will do what we can. Well said. Thank you, Chrissy. And it's great
Thank you.
that you've added your voice today. Backing vocalist. Right. So
Yeah.
one of these days, you know what? We'll try and find an event where Chrissy wouldn't know what the event will be about, and we'll start us talking about period poverty and menstrual health, and then we'll see how he copes. Because yeah, we need you on here. And by the way, he keeps hiding, but he's a very strong advocate, but doesn't want to show his face. Thanks, Chrissy York. Right. So my next question, or one of the questions that I always ask myself is hmm, I don't know, I'm trying to word it properly without sometimes when these questions, when you're asking it, it's funny how it comes out. Please host, the speed and your pace in speaking today is an oh, Chrissy, you started. Anyway, so um so what I'm trying to say, or the question that I'm trying to ask is, why is it taking us so long? Like, what I always ask this, why is it taking us so long? I mean, how long ago did women start menstruating? And why are we actually so shy to talk about it? And you know what, Paul, you made a submission that we should encourage staying at home or working from home. And I think that
Yeah.
is only going to add to the already existing problem, because we're still segregating them. We're still segregating women from being part of work. What we're trying to do is not for women or a girl to miss school. Now you're advocating for working from home. We're still segregating. Why do I have to work from home because I'm on my period? I get it, I'm slow, but it doesn't mean I have to
No,
stay home.
so if the whole idea is the
Right?
whole idea is that you should also create an enabling environment, a very friendly and cordial environment for your employees to feel comfortable in their space. You get it, and it's all part of SDG number 3: good health, well-being, and good living. It's all part of it. We are not saying that yes, we shouldn't shy away from talking about it, but yes, during our I mean when after 7 days all come back to work, let's normalize having conversations about it. I believe that
Okay.
that is where we should be able to start from. If we normalize having open discussions about it. So for instance, maybe you have a teams or you have a departmental meeting, spend like some 5 minutes just to have an open discussion as a way of encouraging female colleagues to have open discussions among themselves. Let's break that barrier where it is seen as a taboo to talk about it. We have been, well, we grew up with it from childhood. In a typical African context, we grew up, you know with it, that there are certain things you don't talk about it in society and all that, because it is seen as, as a taboo and all that. But we've come a long way. Ghana is about, I think, more than 63 years or 65 years since we gained independence. Until now, we still shy away from talking about it. We are the only change we can, and we can start something, especially for organizations out there. To the employees that are there, let's normalize talking about it. Okay, I expect male colleagues to approach female colleagues and have open discussions about it. That is how you can they can move away from that, comfort zone of not talking about it. It's very unfriendly discussion, but once you begin to talk about it, you notice that there is this kind of ease, and then people begin to share ideas. Okay, when I'm experiencing or when I'm going through my 7 day period, this is what I do. This is how I'm able to manage my pain and all that. Once we begin to talk about it, it goes a long way to boost. Yes, a fire from the military, we say, to boost the morale of ladies around, especially the young ones who are also learning from the older generations and all that. Let's continue to talk about it every day. So during operational planning meetings or probably departmental meetings, 5 minutes just to talk about period management wouldn't actually change anything. It would actually go a long way to educate colleagues that, hey, it's very important we support our female colleagues at work. And again, the TLC comes to play. If men are actually providing that TLC when it comes to the period management thing, they would be the ones championing these things during meetings that, hey, okay, this is what I do for my wife when she's in her menses. This is how I support her at home. And I believe that men can equally do the same, at home, in their workplaces. Let's have traditional authorities talk about it. Let's have religious authorities talk about it openly. In every forum that we find ourselves, let's talk about it openly. Once we do that, we gradually will be doing away with this stigma, and this unfriendly discussions. If we normalize it every day, it becomes a routine that, yes, even kids in basic schools, basic, let's say grade 6, grade 5, can even talk about it. But if we try to manage it in a way that, yes, well, we don't need to talk about it because people will feel uncomfortable. Yes, it's an uncomfortable topic, but let's talk about it. If we talk about it, it becomes comfortable for everybody to understand and appreciate why period poverty needs to end in Ghana, not just Ghana, but around the globe as well. That is my take on it.
Right. So if I understood you well, you're advocating for the environment, for us to make the environment conducive to talk about,
Exactly.
or to talk about
Exactly.
it, and then there wouldn't be the need for people to work from home and to shy away altogether. So that's your stand, if I've got you right.
That is another way of managing it. You get
Okay.
it. Like I
All
said,
right.
every organization can have a period policy.
Hmm.
You get it.
Mm-hmm.
Every I mean 7 days work from home. I mean, the first 3 days is very painful. That is where you go through a lot of abdominal pains and all that. During the fourth day, they can report to work and all that. But the first 3 days, they can probably just work from home. And then in our Teams channel, in wherever organizations we find ourselves, you can create Teams channel and talk about period management in there, where male colleagues are also there. Some organizations even have social media platforms, let's say WhatsApp, Telegram, and the rest, where stuff are there where they sometimes put real time information that something is happening within the organization. People need to hear about it. Let's begin to normalize talking about period management on these platforms.
Mm. Okay.
Once we
Right.
do that, everybody would understand and appreciate why period poverty needs to end, and why menstrual hygiene is very important, and why the men need to support their female colleagues, their wives at home, and all that. Yeah.
Okay. So, Miss Sharifa, let me hear from you. What is your take on this, on how we will be able to encourage women to be confident? I think our previous advocacy was on owning your flow. Women have got to own, or girls have got to own their flow. That was a campaign for Malawi, and we will keep doing it. Um, but when we talk about owning your flow, right? To me, is like to not be able to be shy. Paul, I get your point, but again, why do I have to work from, unless I'm in pain? That's different, and I'm in discomfort. So being home, I can be in my pajamas, you know, put hot water bottle or whatever. Yeah, whatever it is that will make you comfortable, and again, still be able to get your work done. I get all of that, but what about those that don't want to be, like, because we're trying to fight against that segregation, right? So what I'm trying to say is, what more can we do to not make that segregation still happen? And Paul has said, by openly to keep talking about it, which is good. Create that environment that women will be able to be in that environment. So now, Sharifa, being a woman now, my question is, what can we do? So Paul, this is your for you as a guy. That's fine. I'm not saying you're wrong, or I'm still with you, Mr. Chocolate. So Sharifa, this is us as women, right? This is
Yeah,
as women. How do we own it? How do I say, yes, I'm on my period, I am slow, my hormones are all over the place, but I still want to come to work, and and own it, and everybody would have to just bear with it, that I'm owning it, and I'm not going to shy. I'm not, I don't know if you get what I'm trying to say.
I do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I feel like all this stems from the patriarchal, idealization of it. Um, the need to openly talk about it has been stepped on. It's not something, talking about menstruation openly has been something that is not normalized, like Paul said, and there is a need to normalize it now. You said some cultures, and when women are menstruating, they are being considered impure and unclean, so on. And so, with these beliefs, it has become like a deeply internalized, which has led we the women to view menstruation, even we the women, to view menstruation as something that is to be ashamed of. So already, since it has already been ingrained into our mind that menstruation is impure and so on, it's already kind of making the women feel embarrassed about it, and they avoid discussions about it openly, and also they feel embarrassed to acknowledge their menstruation in public. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
like Paul said, at the workplace there could be a working leave for them, more like the sick leave, and the companies of course could implement such policies. And if the woman doesn't want to leave, to go on a leave for the company should then have access to menstrual products at their workplace as well. And also getting into the fact that we as women should be able to, like you said, say, hey, I'm on my period, I know I'm slow, so on. It starts from the whole concept of understanding the whole menstrual thing, because if it's not being understood well, it comes with a lot of hormones, a lot of
Mm-hmm.
mood swings here and there. And so it's being viewed as something that is um already so impure or unclean. So if I am on my period and
Mhm.
I want to work, but then I'm going through hormonal changes and mood swings here and there, and I want to claim it and still go for the work. I think, um, of course, it's all stems up to having openly discussions about it. Yeah, today I'm in my period, so I can tell a colleague at work, I'm in my period. I feel like I'm going to be a bit down during
Mm.
work session or something. So it all stems up to having open conversations about it here and there. And like I said, if not for the patriarchal norms that has been put into our mind that it's something to be ashamed of, then talking about it openly shouldn't be a problem at all. So
Mm.
together we can all break the barriers, dismantle the stigma, and even pave way for the future where menstruation is being prioritized, understood, and accessible for everyone.
Mm. 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 Right.
Let me if
Yeah.
I,
Great. Great.
if I,
Mhm.
let me share this quick bite. The last time I brought up menstruation at the workplace, okay, with some of my female colleagues, and then immediately I mentioned it. I just wanted to find out like how they carry themselves when they are menstruating and all that. I had one colleague said, "Paula," it's just mentioned, "Oh, Paula." It's too early. It's too early to talk about it in the morning. But you see, we joked around it, but the key message was that let's normalize talking about it.
Mm.
Yes,
Yeah.
let's
Mm.
normalize talking about it. Yeah, so you may have a chit chat with colleagues, but once in a while, just chip it in. Let's talk about it briefly. So everybody gets to learn a bit of everything about it, because obviously you'd have women who react differently to certain types of menstrual products. Some
Mhm.
may prefer the tampon. My expatriate colleagues, most of them prefer the tampon. Others don't prefer it. Others prefer different brands of sanitary pads and all that. But if we normalize talking about it, begin to share ideas, and then our female colleagues can even tell us, okay, this is what I do when I'm having mine. These are the kind of exercises I do. These are the kind of foods I eat to be able to ease down the pain. Like I said, the first 3 days, the abdominal pains you go through, it's like you have a sharp edged sword, having an incision on your skin, and you get to see, you get to feel how painful it is. If we don't talk about this painful environment we all go through, how
Mm.
then can we talk about it in subsequent, sessions and all that? So, to our women out there, let's have open discussions every day with our male colleagues. To the male colleagues out there, let's challenge our female colleagues and have open conversations about it. Let us not shy away from it that, no, it's a taboo. I don't want to talk about it. Let's have our traditional authorities, the queen mothers, they should be able to play a leading advocacy role when it comes to community gatherings and all that. Spend 5 minutes talking about it. Once you begin, you see, people look up to people in authority and then they pick whatever they say. So if we begin to talk about it, if management begins to send, short emails on menstrual hygiene, period policy at work and all that, people will begin to have discussions about it.
Mhm.
Yes,
Right.
and I'll use
We,
this opportunity to encourage organizations that they should have gender focal persons in the organization. So these are
mm.
persons who would advocate on gender related activities, not just for females, but also for the men as well.
Yeah.
Yes. It's all part of, having open discussions, on period management and all that. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah. So I totally agree when it comes to the open discussion, because I think that is where the whole, insecurities and, the sensitivity of it all stems from. The lack of confidence in talking about it all stems from, because we've 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 covered it, we've covered it for too long, and that, it's created a lot of issues, like I said, in the beginning of the event, where I randomly had a conversation with my female colleague and was like, okay, why, so like I'm saying, I agree with everyone here, and it's a way to be able to, at least that's how we can start, or that's where we
Yeah.
can start from. And then I'm also looking um for the time, or to a time where women will not be afraid to be on their period and still want to do stuff, would still want to do physical activities. Because you know we all don't go through the same pain, right? Our bodies
Yeah.
Yeah.
are different. Our
Yeah.
bodies are different. And some people, I know people who the first 3 days are on painkillers, or the first 4 or 5 days painkillers throughout, because of how painful it is, and I think it was Ethel,
Yeah.
the founder of the Orange Girls,
Orange
who also
girls.
has a
Yeah.
friend she said had to leave work altogether, like literally not working, because of that time of the month. Because when is that time of the month? She's so much in pain. Is it endometriosis? I'm trying to remember the word for it, and I don't want to pronounce it wrong and embarrass myself. Endo something something. It's a there's a term for it, and I can't remember it. If anybody can remember it, if you can help me out. Endometrius or endo something. It starts with endo. It will come. But anyway,
Yeah.
that's just by the way. So she's had to give up her work. This shouldn't really be happening. But
Yeah.
again, this is because we're not having the conversation. We're not having the education around it. That people feel that being in that time of the month, they're now a burden to the organization. And this is where, Paul, your submission comes in, that if there are policies in companies, to embrace this sort of I don't want to call it issue. It's not an issue. It's not an issue, but I can't think of a better word right now. This type of unfortunate incident, let me put it that way.
Mm.
When it comes to that time of the month, that you might end up losing one of your best employees, just because of the a few days in the month that they're not able to function 100%. You understand? So it's and also for us women, not to shy away from it. It is time that we
Yeah.
say, yes, I'm a woman. I go through pain at this time of the month, but I am working. You understand? This is what I'm trying to say. But
Exactly.
I still want to be
Exactly.
at work, and you're going to make it work for me. And I will need some few time or some few days away, but I want to
Yeah.
be at work. I don't know if you get my drift. Just like people are on the street protesting now. I'm not saying go and protest, though, please, I beg, in the office. But again, like, I don't know. I have some energy this evening. I don't know where it's coming from. But anyway, we've got loads of comments, interesting comments actually, and submission in the comment sessions. I'll read them out. This is Jennifer. Jennifer says, I think over the years, um, there haven't been much conversation. Yep. So I believe having these conversations from time to time will create the needed awareness. Exactly. And the thing is, I think most foundations or individuals as well leave it till the 28th of every year. No, not 28th of every year,
May.
28th May of every
Yeah.
year. Yeah. To make noise, and then it just dies down. But every day someone menstruates, every day someone is starting or experiencing the first day of menstruation. Some people are ending it, so it's an everyday conversation, and until we see that change, it should be that conversation, and we're trying to normalize it. So the more we talk about it, the easier it gets. We create that environment. And for me, it's more about the educational side of it as well, because it was through an event like this that I learned that, from Dr. Ajuman Benedicta, I think her first name is, Ajuman Prempe, who said, if a girl has it too early in the age, like early teens, or even before
Yeah.
they in their teens, that they're more susceptible to
Cervical
cancer.
cancer. Yeah.
Yes.
I didn't know this. And it was through these conversations. So if we I don't know where I was going to find this information, because we've had this conversation and we cover it, and we have education, we cover it, but it was through these advocacy events that we all on the call actually learned about it. So it shows how powerful and how much we're going to learn from each other, and how much we can unravel by having these conversation and
Yeah.
just talk about it, regardless of how uncomfortable it is. And the thing is, a lot of issues that social issues that we have now is because we never talked about it. We were always, either shy, or we
Shying
felt
away from it.
yeah. And now
Exactly.
it's become a social issue when we could have
Yeah.
just talked about it, learnt about it, educate ourselves about it, and it wouldn't be a social issue. But here we are making a social issue, and it shouldn't be. So yes, I do agree with you, Jennifer, and we will keep having these conversations, um as a way of also adding our voice and the little that we can do to educate ourselves, and also to change the narrative out there. Okay, so Jennifer has got another submission. Okay, Kwesi says great submission, Paul, by Paul. So I guess it was when you were passionately talking about how we should have
Yes.
conversations at the workplace, and men should get involved. So Kwesi, very very great for you to get involved by showing your face on these events. Yes. Okay. I've lost Jennifer's submission. Yes. Jennifer says, "Do women do women who are in pain during their periods wants to go to work, or do any other things for that matter?" I agree, especially the first 3 days. It's a lot. I think most women who feels pains during periods don't really want to do anything. They just want to be left alone. Yeah, they do, or we do. So I think that's what Paul is suggesting will come to play. Yeah, as in work from home, where you can be in your pajamas and then eat all the greasy food,
But
TLC.
if we're to this point, like I said, one way men can also show, support, when it comes to some of these things is that during that 7 day period, take charge at home.
Yeah.
Okay, take
Please,
charge at
men,
home.
married men. It's
The
not just
house,
married men. Even those with
yes.
sisters, mothers at home. Help
Exactly.
out. Help out, help
take
out.
Yeah.
take take charge at home. The housekeeping, cooking and all that. I mentioned it the last time. Provide
Mm.
the TLC. Try even massage their foot and all that. Try to go the extra mile. You do the cooking. Make sure within that 7 day period you are supportive as much as possible. And even at the workplace, okay, you can even find out, is there any way we can even provide emergency sanitary pads to our female colleagues in the in the washroom, so that in case somebody has an emergency period
Yeah.
because of hormonal imbalances and all that, they can quickly have access to it in the washroom and then quickly change themselves and all that. So like I said the last time, if you're a man, keep reminding your wife, whoever it is, every 4 hours you need to change your pad. Within 6 hours you need to take a shower, a clean bath and all that. That is how best as a man you can also support, alleviating the pain that they are going through, and the emphasis here, even for persons with disability. So for instance, if you made an earlier submission of, for people who are even armless and they have to use their legs and all that, how are they able to change their sanitary pads every
Mm,
4 to 6 hours?
mm,
They need a helping aid to be able to change that for them. What are we doing about such persons in society? For the blind, those manufacturing sanitary products, have we even thought about the packaging, having a braille package for them, so that they can actually understand that this is how to go about it, this is how to use it? If we are not doing that, even though we are advocating for gender equality when it comes to ending period poverty, discrimination and all that, we're actually enforcing discrimination when it comes to packaging of menstrual products, especially for persons living with disability, especially the blind girls. And I will challenge, this is a call I would throw to manufacturers who are manufacturing sanitary products, that go the extra mile, have braille packaging for persons who are blind. It
Mm,
becomes easier for them to understand and use, because then they can't see. They rely on what people will tell them, or what their tutors or their helping aides will tell them, or even go the extra mile that, okay, your helping aid will be the one to fix it for you. But if we have packaging in the braille language, it becomes easier. We will
mm,
defeat discrimination when it comes to period management. So this is a call to all the manufacturers out there. Make sure you have packaging in braille language so that persons with disability, especially the blind, can have easy access to some of these products, and then it makes their life so easier. It's all
mm.
part of the TLC I've been talking about.
Yes,
Yeah,
definitely, definitely. Because at the end of the day, it's also a way to empower them. You understand? Because that's the language they understand. That's the language they can
exactly,
read. We
exactly,
translate it into French and all these other languages. So why are we not giving them their own language that they understand? That's
exactly.
very true. So yeah. There is another comment. I don't want to butcher your first name, so I'm going to go with your last name, which is easy to pronounce. Abdul Salam says menstrual health is a right, not a privilege. 100%. Everyone. Okay, I don't know. I've lost it again. One sec. Um, Everyone deserves access to menstrual hygiene products, yet education and care without shame or stigma. 100. By breaking down the taboos, empowering the girl child through education, and ensuring access to essential products, this will help us build a world where menstruation is no longer a barrier to equality, opportunity, and dignity. Abdul Salam, please be my guest. Come on this show with Paul, and it's going to be a great conversation. I hope you're not
Also,
like Chris. I hope you're not like Chris, who's a backing vocalist. We don't want any more backing vocalists. We actually want to have these
yeah,
conversations with guys, and it would be great to have another guy with Paul or other guys
Yeah.
with Paul on this conversation. And then we have like, like a debate or a conversation with men and women on is going to be great. But I know as Paul is out there obviously showing face, it will encourage more men to actually add their voice and also show their face. Let's normalize and help champion menstrual health for all. God bless you, Abdul Salam, and thank you for adding your voice. That's a great comment. I mean, coming from a guy, I guess we also the education that we're looking for, or we're advocating for, to not leave anyone behind, i.e., not leave men or guys or boys out of the conversation
yeah,
or out of the education. It's all
Yeah.
part of it. So yes, thank you. It's been
Yeah.
a great conversation actually.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, and Salam is part of my team,
okay,
actually.
okay. Yes, so there we go. It would be great to have him on the show if
Yes.
he's
Yes.
available to. We have one on Friday. So Salam, please, if you're available on Friday, get in touch and then um be our guest. It will be great to have you. And I don't know if we will have a nickname for you since Mr. Chocolate has already been taken. We'll try and find you a name which will go well with our listeners. Right. So
interesting. Yeah.
to wrap up, Miss Sharifa, thank you very much for your time and joining us today or this evening in a very brilliant, educative, and interesting conversation. Great submission as always. Whenever we're having this conversation, and there's a lot of passion and enthusiasm around it, and it's great to have another great person out there doing the little that they can through writing, global writers, to add their voice and Some people are making songs, others are drawing. We all have a way that we would want to add our voice and advocate. And global writers um, are doing their part by writing about all these issues. So thank you very much, Miss Sharifa, for adding your voice and being our guest. So what is your last words for our listeners, or to our listeners, on this topic?
Okay, thank you very much once again for having me here. And to end this, I would say addressing the menstrual health, especially for women with disability, is not merely a matter of personal hygiene, but then it's also a fundamental aspect of dignity. It comes with equality and also empowerment. And the journey towards menstrual equity involves being collective through our actions and advocacy, and also a commitment to like fostering an inclusive environment where all these women or girls with disabilities can thrive in. Yeah, so I
Mm,
think advocating for these inclusive policies and also improving the accessibility and challenging the stigmas and supporting one another through education and
mm,
community initiative, we can create a society that respects and accommodates diverse women of all needs, including the disabilities and all kinds. So we all know that menstruation is a natural part of our life, and also ensuring that every woman, including those with disabilities, has the support and resources, and also understanding the need to have an essential understanding of their health and well-being. So together we can make it work through our
mm.
advocacies, and we can break the barriers. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for that powerful last words. Together, it's a collective effort. Thank you very much, Mr. Paul Asante. What are your last words this
Um,
evening to our listeners out there?
so what I'll say is that let's show some love. Let us not discriminate against persons with disability. Let's go out there and support them, show some love, give them extra chocolate. They call sanitary pads chocolates. That is how come if has this name out there for me. So let's go out there, show some love. Let's get them more sanitary products out there, and then together we fulfill SDG number 5 that talks about gender equality and more especially on empowerment. And then also on number 3 that talks about good health and then living well, or yeah, as well. So let's all come on board. As I would always wrap up with, none of us is as strong as all of us. It's a concerted effort, and let us all come on board and make sure we provide some smiles and show some love to everybody out there, especially to the disadvantaged girls in our rural communities. Thank you for having us before.
Right. Thank you very much again for your last words. As he's clearly said, Mr. Chocolate. Um, thank you very much, Mr. Chocolate. Um, right. It's been a great evening. Again, it's meant to be an hour um, you know, event, but when the conversation is so nice, you don't even realize that you've gone over the time. We've actually spent an hour 30 minutes. Whoever thought that we will be able to have a conversation about periods on for an hour 30 minutes, and that's on period. That's bars, man. Anyway, so this is Triple A Foundation. My name is Afua Amponsa, your lovely host. Again, if you ever want to be a guest, kindly let us know. We are always looking for great minds and liked minds to join this conversation, because like it's been said, it's a collective effort, and the more voices that we have, the better, and the more we will be able to learn from each other, because we all have great ideas out there on how we'll be able to come together to fight for the same goal. So yes, thank you all for joining us again. This is AAA Foundation. We're looking to donate or make a donation to the School of the Blind, Ekopong, Ghana, in the Eastern region, and we're looking to donate over or up to 1,000 menstrual products or menstrual hygiene products to the lovely girls. And the education piece is not just for the girls; it's for the boys as well, and also for us to spend a day with them and understand their 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 life when it comes to that time of the month. How do they do it? What do they go through? And by having this conversation, we will get to understand them, And this is one thing that a lot of us do wrong, or especially those in the NGO setting or organization, where we just look at a problem from behind and we just think this is what they will need without really understanding it from their perspective. So sometimes it happens that the help that you're offering might not be fit for purpose. So by spending a day with them, understanding them, and getting a feel or also getting educated on how they do it and what could make their life easier during that time of the month. When we are here advocating, we have that knowledge and the first hand information to be able to advocate towards the right things to be put in place. So yeah, we're looking forward to having that day with them, as we also talk to them and have a discussion on mentorship again, and also the employment as well. Career, there we go. Career conversation with them. So we're looking forward to it. It's going to be a full pack, a day full of, a lot of education, and not just the donation, but the donation is basically the climax and our way of also saying thank you for spending your time with us. And if you're looking to get on board, kindly get in touch with us, myself, Paul Asante, Chris York, and now we have the global writers as well. So if you see people sharing our flyers, you can also share your flyers to your organization, to your friends and family, churches. The more people we get on board, the closer we can get to our target in terms of the items that we want to donate. So you can donate in cash or in kind, or you can again like, comment, and so that we can reach more people out there. And also, if you're an organization that is involved in any of these supplies, we would love to talk to you so that you can give us discount, as we are individuals and a foundation. Our resources are very limited. You can give us a discount on these products so that we'll be able to cut down on the cost, and it will we will appreciate your help on that, and God will bless you mightily. So thank you very much. And thank you for having or spending your midday with us, or mid evening with us this evening. And on Friday, we will be here again talking about periods, and that's on periods. I don't know why I said that, but anyway, I don't know. I have this. I think it's because I just had dinner. I have so much energy to burn.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you very much. It's been a lovely conversation. I've actually really liked it. Um, and to our listeners, the few that commented in the comment section, Christy York, Jennifer, Abdul, and now we've got Theophilus. Guys, I'm late. Wish you could do me a favor to do a short summary for me. Okay, Theophilus, just for you, just for you, just for you. We're advocating and we're just saying that the more we talk about period, the more we talk about menstruation, the easier it will become for the awareness and the education to go far. And also, Mr. Paul here is advocating for us women on the behalf of guys that, when is that time of the month, do have pity on us, give us that TLC, massage our foot, give us chocolates, give us that TLC that we need. And in the workplace too, if you see that your female colleague is struggling because it's the time of the month, why don't you offer a helping hand as a gentleman? And also educate yourself about this whole menstrual period. And we're also advocating that policies need to be changed, and also for people in higher places to take the taxes off the menstrual product, because it's not a luxury. We cannot be taking pad or menstrual product and be eating it because it's a luxury. It's not, oh, it's too expensive. So we're begging and we're pleading and we're advocating to say it's not a luxury product. It's a necessity, it's a basic human right, and every woman deserves to have their flow in dignity. Wow, how is that for a summary? Mr. Theophilus, I did this for you. So thank you very much for listening in, and it's bye for now. Thank you all. Have a great
Thank
evening.
Thank you,
thank
and have a wonderful day. Those outside Ghana, have a wonderful day. Those in Ghana, have a wonderful evening. We'll see you on
thank you
Friday.
so much,
Bye
Paul.
bye.
And thank you
Bye.
to our lovely guests. See ya.